Today, Feel Like You Belong is on site at Grand Valley State University, getting prepared for an afternoon performance of Elvira, a play that was written by our guest today, and I'm so glad to welcome Jessica Carmona to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm glad to be here, Alan.
So tell me, this is a play that you wrote, your first full-length play?
My first full-length play. I've been taking playwriting class over the last few years. And I started a few different sketches. I had a few different ideas, but this was the one I really wanted to develop to a full length. It started off as a one-woman play, and I kept on workshopping it and developing the script, and I finally realized that it can't be told with just one actor. It really needs other actors to bring the story to life.
So tell me a little bit more about Elvira Arellano.
Yeah, many people refer to Elvira Arellano as the Latina Rosa Parks. And the reason is because Elvira, she disobeyed or she broke an unjust law, or a law that she thought was unfair, which is that a mother should be separated from her son because of who has citizenship and who doesn't, who's documented and who doesn't. And so basically she's a woman who was living in the United States, living and working here without documentation, and she was caught up in an immigration raid, and her son, who was a US citizen, they basically tried to deport her to Mexico and separate her from her son. So instead of going back to Mexico, she basically took sanctuary in a church. So her story just inspired me so much as a Latina woman, as a woman of faith, and really Elvira, her story is that of an unlikely hero. Because interviews that I've done with her, she didn't set out to be a hero. She never thought of herself as some kind of, superstar, like I want to be in the limelight.
So what was it that thrust her into the limelight?
Really, number one, she didn't want to be separated from her son, but she really took an act of faith, like a leap of faith. Like she really believed that she had a right to be in this country because she'd been living and working here for so long, and like millions of other immigrants, she wasn't doing anything wrong. She was living a hard-working, honest life, and she didn't realize it, but by taking that single step of faith, she set into motion a whole chain of events around immigrant rights, and she inspired thousands and thousands of other immigrants, and she became a symbol of the fight for immigration reform. And again, quite by accident. She didn't try to be this, superstar. She wasn't striving for that at all, but it was just naturally, it came from within, which makes her story that much more beautiful.
Sure. So tell us about your own background that gives you some extra insight into this situation.
Sure. Well, I'm Puerto Rican. I was raised in a very Christian but very politically progressive, socially progressive family. And the movie I did, Millie and the Lords, was about the Young Lords Party with Mr. Cha-Cha Jimenez. And so I was kind of exposed to social justice and social activism from an early age. And in college, I was very involved with socially progressive groups that fought against police brutality and for the rights of Latinos and things like that. So I was very, very involved in the immigrant rights movement from many years ago. And so right now I teach English as a second language, and almost all of my students are undocumented immigrants. And I have such a close professional relationship with this community. And after Hurricane Sandy, for example, I did a lot of relief work with the immigrant community after Hurricane Sandy, and I was able to see firsthand what their lives are like and the difficulties that they had accessing aid. So I really wanted to put together my training and my skill as an actor and a playwright together with my passion for social justice.
Sure.
Because I've gotten to know this community so well. And like any other community, it's not to say that they're all angels or that anybody's perfect, but the great majority of this community, they have good intentions, and they're such hard workers, and like everybody else, they want the American dream, and they're contributing so much.
Paying taxes.
Yeah, even if they don't pay, many of them get paid off the books, so to speak, but when they participate in the economy by buying food and clothing and other things that are taxed.
Sure.
So yeah, that's kind of how this all came about. It was over a series of years. It didn't happen in a linear way. I had to develop the confidence to call Elvita, and she didn't know who I was. I was like,
Some
"Hi."
stranger saying, I want to write about
Play
you.
about you. Yeah, I called her up.
So what was her response?
Believe it or not, it was overwhelmingly positive. She's like, "I'm so great to meet you. That's what an honor that somebody wants to write a play about me." And I started asking her all these questions because I wanted to know her life story. Like, what was it that makes her and so many others risk their lives to cross the border, to come to Mexico? I'm sorry, to come to the United States. And this is a theme that I bring up in my play. You know, I think a lot of people miss the question in this whole immigration debate. You know, Mexico is a beautiful country. It's lovely. You know, why would people risk their lives and go through such humiliating circumstances in order to come here? It's because of desperation, and it's because of economic and political policies that our country has with that country that create these circumstances, these conditions where people are forced to migrate. And in the play, I make reference to the great American novel, The Grapes of Wrath, by John Steinbeck, which is, I'm sure you remember, about the Joad family who migrated from Oklahoma to, I think, California. Correct. With dreams of picking strawberries. And, you know, it's human nature to migrate to places where there's more work.
Looking for a better life.
Looking for a better life. And
Support
it's the
your
most
family.
natural human
Sure.
thing. And,
Sure. I wanted to ask you, because I understand Elvira has seen the play.
She has.
What was her response?
Oh my gosh, she came to opening night in New York City, which was such an honor. She was the guest speaker of the night, and it was a really wonderful experience. She's very much in demand, so she's always going to political events all around the country. So it was another situation where, like, right after my play, she said a few words, and then she had to book and go to her next destination. So she couldn't stay for too long, but she thanked me for writing the play, and she congratulated all of us, the whole cast. And I've maintained communication with her since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of booking, I know that you have to run because you're in the middle of setting up at the stage across the campus and last minute rehearsals, etc. So, but I know there's a huge audience expected. I know the president of the university and a number of the cabinet will be there. So. Welcome, and keep doing good things, because this is an exciting project, and we wish you the best.
Thank you so much, Alan.
You bet.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me on your program.
You bet.